Now, in September 2018, Veronika Didusenko was crowned the winner of the Miss Ukraine beauty pageant. But just 4 days later, she was stripped of her title. What for exactly? Well, simply for being a mother. According to the rules of the Miss World franchise, you can't take part if you have children. Well, now Veronika, who has a 5-year-old son, has taken the beauty contest to court over its policy. And we are joined by Veronika Didusenko, along with her solicitor, Shireen Marker. Welcome to you both. Veronika, you knew the rules presumably before you entered, did you?
I didn't know the rules before I started completing the application form. At this moment, organizers of Miss Ukraine, who own the franchise of Miss World, they encouraged me to enter the competitions and they were inviting me to join their pageant. And then I started completing the application form. I realized that those rules are still existing, but I could not understand how being a mother, which implication it has on my ability to be a professional fashion model or a successful charity worker. So,
but when you applied and when you went for this competition, did you have to declare whether you had children or not? Did you have to tell them?
So the only time when I saw this rule was when I started completing the application form.
And what did you say? So you said that you didn't have children, did you?
Yeah, because if you don't click the box, your application doesn't go through, and you cannot apply.
And so they found out once you had been crowned. What happened then?
After 3 days I've been crowned, I was disqualified.
And how did you feel about that?
Firstly, I felt shocked because I did not really think at the time I could win, and then I was disqualified. It was twice more shocking for me. I felt so humiliated and insulted, and at this moment I started getting thousands of comments and messages on my social media supporting my campaign against those rules.
You felt insulted by that because
rules are discriminatory, and there is no place for them in the 21st century when women can successfully balance their careers and parenting.
Well, we have asked Miss World for a response, and just to say they haven't come back to us yet. But in 2018, the Miss World organisation CEO Julia Chorley did speak about the new no children rule, and the organisation said that when you're trying to get a worldwide organisation to agree, you have to look to everyone and they vote as to what is acceptable. That's what she told the Good Morning Britain programme. And also, if you can understand, we don't just have our own feelings, we have others to consider. So what we try to do is to get a balance. And the other thing that they raise, Shireen Marker, if I can just put this to you, is that they have to look out for the welfare of the children. And obviously in the job of being, a winner, you're travelling a lot. Isn't that fair enough?
I mean, we understand what they're saying, but we would argue that cultural sensitivities should not form the basis for discrimination. And in today's day and age, the fact that you're married or that you have children shouldn't act as an impediment to your professional career. So we would argue that it is discriminatory, and the fact that she might have childcare responsibilities shouldn't have a bearing on whether she's allowed to progress in this competition. And
Shireen, you are taking legal action. What is the process? What's the time frame of this at the moment?
Sure. So we have written to the Miss World organisers threatening legal action on the basis that the rules are discriminatory and that they're contrary to the Equalities Act. We were supposed to receive a response on Friday, and we received a holding letter from their legal team. Now that's encouraging because the fact that they've instructed a legal team shows that they're taking the matter seriously, but there's no real excuse for any delay. We now intend to file a complaint with the Equalities and Human Rights Commission because we believe that this is an issue which is widespread and it shows systemic discrimination that impacts many people and not just Veronika. So we think it's something that the Equality and Human Rights Commission would be very well placed to try and bring an end to.
Yes, I mean, I'm sure obviously they will have their own view on this, they will have their own justifications, as we've said, and their own reasoning, so we'll have to see legally how this plays out. Veronika, what do you do with your son when you're travelling or when you're working? I mean, normally.
Yeah, Alex have been traveling with me all the time when I was working as a model, so I worked in Paris, in Milan, in London.
And how old is he?
He is 5 now. He goes to kindergarten in the Ukraine, but when I travel, I take him with me. He's absolutely developed, happy, healthy boy, and I never had a problem with him traveling around the world.
What will happen when he's a bit older and he needs to be at school?
Yeah.
I mean, already he probably needs to be at school.
Yeah, in Ukraine, kids go to school when they're 6 years old,
Yeah.
so I have 1 more year.
I know you talked about the word sort of humiliating and degrading, and you're a beautiful girl. Some people will say the whole, Miss World, these sort of competitions in themselves, aren't they rather degrading now in this day and age to be judged for your looks and to parade in a competitive way for that? You don't need to do that.
Inclusive competitions can break gender stereotypes, can help to empower women, and can create a perfect platform to develop your professional skills. For me, Miss Ukraine was a platform to develop my charity cause Young Einsteins. I run a charity project in Ukraine to help orphans, talented mathematics, develop their talent. So for me, it was a good platform to develop my charity cause.
Okay, Veronika Didusenko, Shireen Marker, thank you both very much indeed for coming in. Lovely to meet you both.
Thank you so much.